Hello. I dressed up for this one today. I'm wearing my absolutely finest clothes, feeling dapper, feeling like I'm dressed to the nines. Hair's all did. The word is done. Don't worry. I speak the proper English. Well, I wouldn't want you thinking otherwise, considering I'm sitting here with lights behind me and a peepo over my shoulder, about to talk about how the internet lies to you. So maybe I'm lying to you right now. Maybe I'm a simulation. What if I'm AI? I'm not even real, right? But the internet has lied to a bunch of people once again. And I was looped into this because we made a video. I don't know if you saw it on the main Zealand channel. It's actually the most viewed video we've ever made on the main channel, and that is the video about the lone fan from Brazil. It's a story of one fan who attended an away match by himself, ended up becoming the president of the club, saving the club. That's the Spark Notes. The video is fantastic. You can watch it at the end of this video because I have important things to tell you. Because that story seemed to be developing again. Although it was sent to me first by my editors. We have about 87 of them. Thank you to everybody that subscribes on Twitch so that we can do all of that. We can make shorts. We can do this channel. We can do the main channel. We can do the live channel. We do so many different things because you guys watch and support. And I really do appreciate that. But one of those 80 million editors that we have, they're all wonderful, every single one of them. They have a group thing that's like ideas, and they just send ideas, and I'll go through it. And one of them attached this like, hey, we're making another lone fan video. There's only 2 Montpellier fans at this league, at this match against Nice. Only 2. Montpellier is in the top flight of France, right? This is a big club in France, and there's only 2 fans in the away section. I see one dude next to the Montpellier banner, and I see another dude standing there, and they're just kind of like fenced off on the side. But they actually won this match. They won it 2-1. So great result for Montpellier. They're not doing fantastic in Ligue 1, so they got to be really happy with that at the moment. They're on a streak of getting bad results, but Montpellier is now 25 matches played, 26 points, 2 points. Was very uncomfortable from getting out of the playoff. But this was an away match, and the initial reaction, right? Eurofoot said, sent this tweet out. They were not the only account that tweeted this out. It's from some other account. You know how all these accounts work. It just like bounces around the internet. Once one tweet bangs, then everybody else tweets out the same thing so they can get a bunch of likes and stuff. And that's fair. I appreciate accounts like this because they let me know this sort of thing is going on. But people were like, how is this possible? Great sportsmanship and love for the club, respect for those for those 2. And then there were some other people like me that went, that can't be true. Just 2. I mean, this is Ligue 1. France is famous for croissants, big old radio towers that have now become national landmarks, and protesting and fandom, right? I realize I didn't follow the rule of 3 there, but France is famous for a lot of things, right? Love French food, love the Eiffel Tower. The protesting's funny most of the time. And then the fans are absolutely rabid, which is not funny sometimes. They get matches canceled, point deductions, because fans are throwing stuff at people trying to take corners. Like that whole, French fan mantra, just ultra aggression type thing has become an issue at times. But to have a club like Montpellier, which is not, this isn't a fake club here. We're not talking about like RB Salzburg, where a lot of their fans abandoned the club when it got taken over by RB or anything. Like, this is an actual club with an actual fan base that's in the top level of France. There's no way that this should be happening. And my spidey senses were on point on this, because as amazing as it seemed that Montpellier only had 2 matches away, if you scroll far enough down, like you get away from the blue check marks in order to find something. Montpellier Ultras boycotted the match following police decision to allow only 100 away fans. And then if you turned to Reddit, right? Reddit pulled the freaking cover back even further, right? Because Reddit had an excellent response that said fans, that shed a little more detail. Fans boycotted it because it was limited to only 100 Montpellier residents 48 hours before the match, and they were only allowed to come by bus supervised by police. So this is a reaction that the police institution at Nice had decided to put in place. And it basically limited who Montpellier could bring. But it is amazing how that little bit of context robs people of a great story. And so the information just spreads like you wouldn't even believe. I mean, just absolutely explodes all over the internet that Montpellier only had 2 fans this game, and this image is seen, and the vast majority of people will see that, internalize it, and wrongly just assume that that's kind of actually what was going on. What I'm curious about is why there was 1 to 2 guys there anyways. How did that end up happening? Did somebody not get the memo? Is there not like a group text or some sort of email chain that can inform people? This guy just bought tickets to the away section and then walked in and just assumed everybody else was going to be there and nobody was there. Also, limiting the fans to 100, and you got to get there 48 hours before the game. You can't take the train. It's 4.5 hours, by the way, on the train from Montpellier to Nice. You can't take the train. And 100 people that have to come by bus. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone either, dude. I wouldn't have gone either. I would not be an away fan. Anyways, I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I think the whole idea of home and away is kind of crazy. That's probably because I was raised in the United States, and before you get on your high horse and go, oh, bloody hell, this is why the Yanks can never talk about football. Oh, he just doesn't understand the passion. Oh, this is unbelievable. Oh, it's right, but just in through the nose, out through the mouth. All right, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe get a paper bag, just maybe one of those. All right, because the United States is actually pretty big, so there's no real home and away culture in the U.S. I live in New York. I grew up in Tampa, so when Tampa teams play in New York, I go to the game wearing my Tampa stuff. And, we don't have like an away fan section. We just kind of show up. And the United States literally, physically is the size of Europe. And so we don't really have a cultural prerogative for, traveling with the team. There are little groups of people that'll be like, yeah, I'll go watch every Bucks game this year. And they fly all over the place and do that. But this wouldn't be me to begin with. You're like 4.5 hours each way. All right, man, I'm probably good. I got a weekend. Let's get together at a freaking bar and watch the game. Whether you get together at a bar and watch the game, we got our fan groups or whatever. I understand the concept that you want to go and you want to support the team. That makes sense. In a place like England, where everywhere is accessible by train and like in the most like 2 hours away, I realize that there's potentially like away days where I think it's like Plymouth to Sunderland or something is like 6 hours, and then those fans get the biggest pat on the back of all time, like congratulations on doing them. Like I guess, but I think a lot of it has to do with grandstanding. I think this sort of thing kind of works into that. I've long had an issue with like the internet is kind of amplified this, but it's this kind of grandstanding about like how this is a great fan, this is a bad fan or whatever. Like, just because I don't go to every Bucks game home and away in the NFL doesn't mean that it doesn't make a mass. Like, I cried when the Bucks won the Super Bowl, even though we had gotten Tom Brady and that seemed cheap, right? It was the equivalent of signing Lionel Messi to just like adding Lionel Messi to Chelsea, basically a team that was good but didn't have a striker. Then all of a sudden they win everything. That was what happened with the Bucks. I still cried when the Bucks won the Super Bowl. I was there with my whole family, but I went to one Bucks game that year. I think it's got to be okay to not do this. I'm realizing as I'm talking about this that people kind of know that. Like the guy that runs the Man United Trey account's been to Old Trafford one time. You'd be like, oh, that's just Manchester United or whatever. But I feel like the vast majority of the fans for clubs that exist anywhere near the top leagues have never been to a game or don't go to the majority of games, and that's fine, even in these cultures that really embrace home and away. But when home and away gets so dangerous that the police are limiting it to 100 people and you have to travel by this way and this is the hour turnaround and everything else, then maybe it's time to adjust the way you're approaching and thinking about like the away day culture. Like if you're really just going there to like get in a fight. I mean, I know a lot of people are doing that. I remember, I think it was Tifo Football made a video about like going to, there were traveling hooligans essentially like all over continental Europe they would travel and then like meet the other hooligans in a field. I feel like some people just need to be introduced to the sport of like MMA, and then maybe that would be something that they're super into instead of just, throwing tables at each other in a town square in Italy. Every once in a while I see those videos and I'm like, why are these grown men doing this? Like, why? There's nothing better to do on your Saturday than just do that towards some dude standing on the other end of a plaza and then throwing a chair that's not yours across the plaza. So really, just be nice to people. If you're a fan of a team, you're a fan of a team, right? You don't have to do the home and away thing. But also, if that is like your community and you're not, out here getting banned from going by the police or you're not getting banned from going, right? But being heavily restricted by the police because you're such a problem, right? Then then do it. That's totally great. There's part of me that is a little jealous that not, every Tampa Bay Buccaneers game isn't contained in a 2-hour radius and I can just go watch all of them. That would be cool if I had unlimited resources to be able to do something like that. That culture seems really neat. I'm not trying to hate specifically on that culture. I'm hating on the fake side of it, the volatile side of it. And that was captured in this, the actual reason that this picture went viral, and the underlying current beneath all of the philosophical debates that I'm having with myself about away day culture and fan violence and grandstanding and trying to look like a true fan for the cameras and whatever, is the fact that the internet just, like, this sort of stuff just kind of goes viral all the time, and there's no actual explanation for the actual reason that it happened. So if you want to be an educated citizen of the internet, if you find yourself a little free time while you're scrolling, you're procrastinating something else, always try and find out the reason something like this is happening, because the vast majority of the time, there is a reason. A Ligue 1 club's not going to have 2 away fans. A Ligue 1 club could play on Mars, and there'd be more than 2 away fans, as long as they're not boycotting. I got a lot of respect for the French fans. Please don't throw anything at me. Okay. Love the bread.